Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I was just thinking over the past few days here and really kind of actually waiting to see what would happen with this whole established titles situation. And if you don't know anything about that, essentially, up until literally this past weekend, a bunch of most high end YouTubers, including No Jumper, Timcast, Spencer Cornelia, if I'm correct, The Daily Wire, including Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, all of them, have all advertised something called established titles, which alleged that there was this plot of land in Scotland, and for like $50, you can purchase a plot of land, a certain amount, it's like 1 foot by 1 foot, and this, by some Scottish law, qualifies you to add the legal title of Lord or Lady to your name. And people were under the impression that they pay this money, they own the land, and they can, of course, act accordingly, have their birth certificates, blah, 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 updated. I'm going to start right now by saying that anybody who took this with any level of seriousness is obviously, it's not to be taken seriously. It's basically a gag gift. But with that being said, it's still expected for there to be legitimacy and transparency in the products and services that are advertised and offered to us across the boards. Like, we expect it to be legit. When you hear about a company, you don't expect it to be ran from a completely different country. Well, I say all this to say that, honestly, I don't know the most details about it because, ironically, all the videos that have been coming out exposing people for this scam, much like what I'm doing right now, actually, I didn't watch a lot of those videos because I was like, oh, the people who I watch on YouTube are, of course, going to address this. I mean, it is news. This is some type of scam scandal that there may or may not be involved in. So you would think that they would at least have some form of transparency. I mean, these are people who, and I'm not talking about every YouTuber, specifically people like The Daily Wire and Timcast, who are not only journal and news-based platforms, but they also claim to be, paragons of truth, in so many words. So with that being said, I was expecting them to address it, so I didn't really look too much into it. Here we are after the holiday weekend, and it's now Wednesday. And of course, we had some other incidents that transpired since then, being that Kanye West went to the Mar-a-Lago dinner and sat down, with Trump and Nick Fuentes and, all that good stuff that I keep talking about in these recent videos. But in this angle, we're talking about it like all of these outlets that I was just speaking about were breaking all kind of news and about the situation that happened with Ye and the former president all weekend long into Monday, even following up with Ye actually coming on to Timcast, and then, of course, that situation falling off. But one thing that did not ever happen is them addressing the situation with the established titles, not only on their official platforms, but also from what I've observed on their Twitters, the Twitters of Tim Pool, the Twitters of people like Jeremy Boring, Ben Shapiro, and even Matt Walsh, sad to say, none of these people have addressed the situation. I'm not saying that it's their full responsibility. I'm not saying that it was their scam or their plot, or that they're, this means that they're complicit in the lies that took place there. But I will say that I think that that's irresponsible of them to not make any mention of something that is a relatively big story. I mean, a lot of people were tricked into believing that they were paying for something that wasn't exactly what it was supposed to be. Maybe there's some type of liability issue that makes it so that they can't come out and speak about it or something, Maybe their lawyers advise them not to. A lot of them are lawyers themselves in the Daily Wire, so maybe they just have their reasoning as to why. But I just think that having your avid fans' money taken from them and misappropriated, or not being transparent about where their money is going, is as problematic as anything that's been going on in the news cycle with Kanye West. So I just beg to ask why. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't understand why that story is taking precedent. It's one of the biggest things that's happening. It's why I've made so many videos about it. But y'all ain't have a little bit of room to maybe address it in anywhere or anything like that. And if somebody has seen somewhere that they addressed the established title situation, please let me know, because I really haven't seen it yet. So this is all me really shooting from the hip. But I think it's just funny to hear all of these people questioning the morality of people just meeting and talking without even knowing what the conversation was. These people being people like Nick Fuentes and Donald Trump and Kanye West, without even knowing what the conversation that they had was, even though we can, assume, condemning the whole situation and stuff like that as if there was some dishonest, evil, nasty, mean, hateful things going on. While there is deceit, there's true deceits, true scams, true lies that are being promoted by your platform, and you don't want to address that. I think that that's a little interesting. And I want to go even further to ask anybody to name a single time that Kanye West has ever scammed anyone. If you can please tell me, the closest thing that I could think about is the record label issues that a lot of people in good music have experienced. People like Big Sean, people like, Sci-Hi the Prince and things like that. That's the closest I could think to him scamming someone. And even those people, I don't believe, would say that he scammed them. The music business and royalty check game and things like that is a funny business as it is. I'm not going to claim that he's done 100% square dealings. I'm just going to say, out of all the products, out of all of the, out of all of the fields that Kanye West has contributed to, whether it be fashion, art, music, even politics, the man gets up there and he bears his soul in every aspect of what he does. And this isn't a yay writing video, but I'm just asking that this man has always been super honest in front of all of us from what we understand, even though he's a changing person and a Gemini. But, my point is, when has he ever scammed us? When has he ever